Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of The Art of Self Defense. The Art of Self-Defense follows Casey after he is mugged by a group of motorcycle thugs. And following these events, he feels very insecure in the world and afraid of virtually everything, until one day he stumbles upon a karate studio and begins to find some confidence and what seems like a home. The trailers were definitely intriguing for this one, but I wasn't completely sold. These highly quirky type of films with this really deadpan style can go wayward for me. They often get high praise from, it seems, everyone, but I find myself so disconnected that I find it hard to get on board. But the base was there for me. Let me just tell you, this blew those expectations right out of the water. I loved The Art of Self-Defense. So let's go ahead and kick off with the positives. I want to start with Jesse Eisenberg, someone who has really struggled to find a post-social network life. He is very good at that character. He's very good at his role in social network and playing that specific type. But outside of that, he's really found a hard way of it, getting to roles with more depth and more complexity and less emotionless sarcasm. But he was so good in this movie. Now, he does have to be a bit emotionless in this film, a little bit dead inside, but he's asked to do so much more with this really interesting character, and he nailed it. I thought his performance was possibly the best performance he's given in his entire career. He is so good in this movie. But really, our entire cast is so good in this movie. Imogen Poots, particularly, I thought gave a stellar performance. And they're given amazing content to work with. The script in this film is fantastic. From the dialogue to the way scenarios play out, I thought that it was all very smart, highly inventive, and really took me on the journey. I was entertained while also thinking. I was laughing while I was also rolling my eyes, and it just did a great job of balancing out the very heavy satire and message behind the film with more nuanced moments and an interesting plot that unfolds in the background. Now, this film head on takes on toxic masculinity, and I thought it just skewered it properly. There's so many just funny little things. There are some funny lines about what it means to be a man, and of course a lot of outdated concepts, but they're all constructed into karate in such an entertaining way. I loved the contrast with the homoerotic moments, much like we see in a lot of hyper-masculine arenas here in the real world. It was obviously a very exaggerated way of creating this satire around hypermasculinity, but it was done so well, and I absolutely loved it. But more than just being this dark satirical comedy about aggression and about violence, about hypermasculinity and how destructive that is, I think it also found some heart in the story itself. Our characters also had interesting things to them as characters in this world. You were definitely rooting for our main character. You were rooting for Casey. You were rooting for Imogen Poots' character. You were invested in the actual story beyond just being entertained and thinking about the satirical notion of the comedy itself. And I thought it did all of that so well. And speaking on that story, I thought it twists and turns very well. Now, some of the things you can start to telegraph as the pieces lay into place, but there are some genuine kind of shocks, and I love that the film and the script particularly does callbacks. We get these ridiculous, asinine stories or situations as we move throughout the film. Weird and crazy stuff happens, but it all calls back. And the screenplay does a great job of tying everything back into the film and the narrative. And I love when films are able to do that, and this one does it very well. So what are the negatives when it comes to The Art of Self-Defense? Well, its message is pretty blatant. It's a foot punch straight to the mind. It's not very subtle. in its attempt at getting this satire across. And maybe it could have been more subtle. I personally didn't have much of a problem with that. But if you want something a lot more nuanced, maybe this isn't quite the film for you. So not really a negative for me personally, but just thought I'd slide it in here. Also, some of the pacing can get a little bit wonky just because I think some of the dark comedy doesn't land as strongly as I think they were hoping for. A lot of it does. I was laughing at a lot of things. Other times, though, things kind of come out of left field and you're like, whoa, what? But honestly, I think this was a pretty great film. I laughed, I was smiling throughout the film. It didn't really introduce me to anything new about the subject matter, but just kind of put my general thoughts toward toxic masculinity right there on the screen. It was a really well done allegory for the subject it was depicting. So, if you're looking for a smart, funny, unique, and entertaining film, I think you should give The Art of Self-Defense a full price ticket. Seek it out, see what it's about, and I hope you have a good time with it. However, saying that, it is a more stilted, quirky type of movie, so just know what you're getting yourself into. If you watch those trailers and they really don't do it for you, I would still give this a rental because it might just surprise you, but I'd be hesitant to tell you to spend that movie theater price on it. So, that is my review of The Art of Self-Defense. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below, and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see The Art of Self-Defense, or have you already seen it? If you have, let me know your thoughts either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!